We all know that the developers of the amazing digital circus showed us the official teaser for the second episode. Now it is in development. Well, in this video, I am going to tell you about the new character that we will probably meet in the second episode. We will also touch on what the second episode will be about. And most importantly, I will tell you about the possible release date of the second episode of the amazing digital circus. Gooseworks and Glitch have already talked about the release date of the second episode. And I'm going to show you that one of the main factors that determines when the second episode will be released is the amount of merchandise they sell. For example, Jax and Pommy's toys that they put in the descriptions of their videos are overpriced. But this is created so that the creators make more money, which is then used for animation. Animations are expensive these days, and the creators, besides making money from YouTube, are making money from their products. This greatly accelerates the development of the whole series, and the second episode should be on our screens very soon. The first episode of Amazing Digital Circus took over a year to make, but only because the animators were making everything from scratch. The whole digital circus, making everything and drawing the characters, takes a huge amount of time. On top of that, you still have to animate it all. But the second and next episodes, as well as the second season of the Amazing Digital Circus, should come out much faster, because the basic details are already ready. The developers only have to move them around and animate them. But I also want to mention that in new episodes, new characters and locations may appear, which we haven't seen in the first episode yet. Accordingly, it takes time to create and animate something new. Authors need to update various locations so that we are not bored watching the series. It should be understood. For example, the authors in the new teaser showed us the room of Pomni, which we have not seen before. I think it will be used in the next episodes, and I'm sure it was created not only for the teaser. And here we already have a new location. Also, the writers are using animations for the digital circus characters from their other projects to speed things up. But they can't do this all the time because obviously the show would look weird, but the fact that the developers can reuse assets and animations from any previous or future Glitch show means that episodes of the Amazing Digital Circus will come out much faster. But what about the plot? The plot is the most important detail of the show. After all, without an interesting story and a mysterious setting, the show would be uninteresting to watch. As we understand it, Glitch does the animation and Gooseworks does the story. Gooseworks worked on the story independently, and while it was waiting for the series to be approved, she was writing the story in parallel and has already finalized it. This means that we'll have to wait for Glitch to animate the series, because the plot is already completely done. By the way, Gooseworks may be writing the plot for the second season of the Amazing Digital Circus right now. I also wanted to say that we shouldn't forget about the show's voice acting. The first episode was actually dubbed into 15 languages. To do a full voiceover, the writers do English first, and then they have to add 14 more languages. Thus, the writers need about 100 different voice actors. Back to the question, what will the second episode of the Amazing Digital Circus be about? Earlier, unconfirmed sources told us that the second episode of Digital Circus will be about Jax, but Gooseworks said that the second episode will be about a character we are not yet familiar with. As we know, the writers said that each episode of the first season will be dedicated to a different character. Also, since in the official teaser we were introduced to the Room of Pomni, we can conclude that there will be some new interesting locations in the new episode. At least one will be for sure. Will they tell us something more about character abstraction or about the exit from the digital circus? We don't know yet. But still, I found some interesting facts about the new character. What kind of character could it be? If we refer to the concept drawings made long before the first episode was released, we see several new characters. For example, a tall frog, or a character that looks like a sock. And if we think back to the scene where Jax, Regatha, and Pomni are walking down the hallway past the rooms they live in, we can see a sock-like character too. But he's abstracted, and he probably won't appear again in the series. We also see our usual characters in these drawings: Kane, Zubul, Kinger, Kaufmo, Bubble, Pomni, Jax, and Ragatha. On top of that, we see a dragonfly, and if it shows up, it will probably live in the very nest that is at the very top of the circus. And by the way, if you haven't seen the circus concept and teaser breakdown video on my channel, you can go to the tooltip at the top right and watch it. However, there are some sketches that we see for the first time. But once again, Gooseworks has said that the second episode will focus on a character we haven't met yet, so there's a chance that no one from that sketch will appear again. But for sure, we don't know that for sure. Now, let's get to the fun part and talk about the release date of the new second episode of The Amazing Digital Circus. As we know, Glitch has some other projects coming out besides Digital Circus, such as Murder Drones Season 1 and Gaslight District. Murder Drones Season 1 ends around May-June, and Gaslight District comes out about a month later. We may have to wait until August-September, and only then the second episode of The Amazing Digital Circus will be released, even if the creators finish working on it much earlier. The sequel to Digital Circus definitely can't come out at the same time as other Glitch projects. Hence, if we know that Gaslight District will be released in about a month, then the second episode of Digital Circus could come out before that project. Logically, this will bring a large stream of viewers who will go to watch Gaslight District right after watching The Amazing Circus. On the other hand, the developers may release Gaslight District first and then show us the second episode of Digital Circus a few weeks later. However, the creators may not release the second episode of the circus until Murder Drones is released, and after that it will have to be a few more weeks or months. Honestly, I don't think that's going to happen, because lately there have been more and more different spoilers for the second episode of The Amazing Digital Circus. This means that the writers are starting to prepare the audience, meaning us, for the release of the second episode. Although if you remember the teaser for the first episode, it appeared on Wacky Watch 2 months before the release of the pilot. But I personally think that the second episode will come out much faster with the teaser, because as I said before, the script and most of the models for the second episode are ready, so the second episode will come out very soon, probably as soon as the next month. And if you add up all the information we've been told, we can conclude that there's already a lot of it. And the more information that starts to come out on a project, it should definitely come out soon. I hope that very soon, you and I will already see the first trailer of the second episode of The Amazing Digital Circus. What do you think of the release date for the second episode of The Amazing Digital Circus? Are you looking forward to the new episode? Be sure to write the answers to these questions in the comments. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. Best of luck to everyone, and bye-bye.